The old alien warrior sat in the corner of the dark bar, his three eyes glowing softly in the dim light. Commander Zethkar had seen many battles in his long life, but tonight he looked tired. Very tired. The young soldiers around his table leaned forward, waiting for him to speak. "You want to know about humans?" Zethkar said slowly, his voice rough like old leather. "You think you know what war is? You think you understand fear? But you have never fought humans," one of the young aliens. A Cree named Vash laughed. "Humans are weak. They have no claws, no armor, no poison. How scary can they be?" Zethkar's eyes turned dark. "That is what I thought 20 years ago. I was young like you, proud, stupid." He took a long drink from his glass. "Let me tell you about Kepler 442. Let me tell you why the whole galaxy fears. One human word." The young soldiers moved closer. Outside the bar, ships moved through space like distant stars. But inside, only Zethkar's voice mattered. "It was supposed to be easy," he began. "Just a small human colony. Maybe 3,000 people, farmers, shop owners, families with children. Our commanders said we would take the planet in one day. The humans had no army, no big weapons, no spaceships." Zethkar remembered that day clearly. His ship had been part of a large fleet. 50 warships carrying 10,000 Vorthok soldiers. They were the best warriors in their empire. They had conquered 12 planets before. They expected the humans to surrender quickly. "We sent them a message first," Zethkar continued. "We told them to give up. We said we would treat them well if they did not fight. Do you know what they sent back?" The young aliens shook their heads. One word Zethkar said quietly. He paused to drink again, remembering the shock on his commander's face. No other species had ever refused so simply. Usually there were long talks, bargaining, fear, but the humans just said no. "Our general was angry," Zethkar went on. "He said the humans were fools. He ordered us to attack at dawn. It would show them what happened to people who said no to the Vorthok Empire." The old warrior's voice grew quieter. "I was young then, a lieutenant. I commanded 50 soldiers, good soldiers, veterans of many wars. We had the best weapons, the best armor. We were not afraid. But something had been wrong from the start. As their ships approached the planet, the humans did not run, did not hide. Instead, they watched." Zethkar remembered seeing faces in windows, people standing in fields, children playing in yards. They looked at the alien ships like they were studying them. "We landed our forces in 3 places," Zethkar explained, "south and east of their main town. We had more soldiers than they had people. Our plan was simple: surround them, cut off their escape, make them surrender." The old aliens, 3 eyes focused on something far away. "But humans do not think like us. Where we saw a town to capture, they saw a home to protect. Where we saw weak farmers, they saw people fighting for their families." The attack had started before sunrise. Zethkar's unit moved through the dark forest toward the human settlement. Their sensors showed no human soldiers, no weapons, no defenses. It seemed too easy. "The first sign something was wrong came from Lieutenant Krall's unit," Zethkar said. "They were moving through a field when the ground exploded under them. The humans had turned their farming tools into bombs. But how did they know where we would walk?" Then came the second surprise. The humans had been watching the alien landing sites through hidden cameras. They knew exactly where each unit was going. They had hours to prepare. "Captain Jake Morrison," Zethkar said the name slowly. "I learned that name later. He was their leader, not a soldier. Just a man who fixed machines for the farmers. That night, he became something else. Morrison had organized the entire defense in just a few hours. He split the colonists into small groups. Each group knew the land better than any alien ever. Could they use paths through the forest that did not show on any map? They hid in places that looked empty to alien sensors. We thought we were hunting them," Zethkar continued, "but they were hunting us." The first ambush happened when Zethkar's unit reached a small bridge. It looked safe. Their scanner showed nothing dangerous. But when half his soldiers were crossing, the bridge exploded. It's not from bombs, but from something simpler. The humans had weakened the supports with normal tools. The weight of the alien soldiers did the rest. 3 of my best warriors fell into the water, Zethkar remembered. Their armor was too heavy. They could not swim. I watched them sink while humans shot at us from trees we could not see. The worst part was not the attack. It was what happened next. The humans disappeared like smoke. By the time Zethkar's soldiers reached the trees, no one was there, only empty forests and the sound of their own breathing. We called for help from the other units. Zethkar said, "Do you know what we learned?" The young aliens waited. The same thing was happening everywhere. All our units were being attacked by humans who appeared and disappeared like ghosts. Humans who knew every rock, every tree, every hiding place on their world. The pattern continued all night. Small attacks, quick retreats. The aliens never saw their enemies clearly. They only saw the results. Soldiers wounded by simple traps, equipment destroyed by bombs made from farming supplies, vehicles stuck in mud that looked solid but was not. By morning we had lost 30. Soldiers, Zethkar said, not to a great battle, not 2 powerful weapons, but 2 farmers with shovels and grandmothers with hunting rifles. But the humans were just getting started. As the sun rose, Zethkar's unit reached the edge of the human town. He expected to see people running in fear. Instead, he saw something that still gave him nightmares. Every window had someone watching us, he whispered. Every door was closed, but not locked. Every street looked normal, but felt wrong. It was like the whole town was waiting for something. That something was about to change everything Zethkar thought he knew about war. The humans were not just defending their home, he told the young soldiers. They were turning it into a weapon. And we were about to learn what happens when you threaten something humans love. The old warrior finished his drink and looked at each young face around the table. Tomorrow, I will tell you about the battle. Tonight, remember this. Never underestimate. Humans, they do not fight like us. They fight like something much more dangerous. What is that? Asked Vash. Zethkar's 3 eyes glowed dimly in the bar light. They fight like humans. The next night, Commander Zethkar returned to the same corner table. The young alien soldiers were already waiting for him. They had been thinking about his words all day. Some looked scared, others looked curious. All of them wanted to hear. "More, you came back," Zethkar said as he sat down. "Good, tonight I will tell you what happened when we entered the human town. Tonight you will learn why humans are different from every other species in the galaxy." He ordered his drink and began to speak. Captain Jake Morrison was not a soldier before that day. He fixed machines, tractors, water pumps, simple things. But when the alien ships appeared in his sky, something changed inside him. Something that exists in every human. Morrison had gathered the colonists in the town center just hours after the alien fleet arrived. There were no speeches about glory or honor, no promises of easy victory. Morrison simply told them the truth. "We are going to fight," he had said, "not because we can win, because this is our home." The humans had no time to build walls or dig trenches. Instead, they did something the aliens had never seen before. They turned their normal life into a weapon. Lisa Carter was a doctor, Zethkar continued. She took care of sick children and hurt farmers. That night she became something else. She learned how to treat bullet wounds and burns. She prepared her medical center for war. Carter had worked through the night. She moved medical supplies to hidden locations around the town. She taught other humans basic first aid. She prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. Ben Sullivan ran the town's power station, Zethkar said. He kept the lights on and the water flowing. Simple work. But when the aliens came, he became their greatest enemy. Sullivan had done something brilliant. He had studied the alien ships through telescopes. He had recorded their signals with radio equipment. In just a few hours, he learned more about alien technology than most species learned in years. Amy Johnson worked at the communication center. Zethkar went on. She helped farmers talk to the city. She sent messages about weather and crop prices, normal things. But that night, she became the voice of human resistance. Johnson had connected every radio, every phone, every computer in the colony into one network. She could talk to anyone, anywhere in the colony, at any time. The humans were no longer separate families hiding in different places. They were one mind with many hands. When my unit entered the town that morning, Zethkar remembered, everything looked normal. Houses with flowers in the windows, shops with signs about sales and services, children's toys in the yards, but it was all wrong. The first trap had been simple. Zethkar's soldiers walked down the main street, checking each building. The street looked empty. Their sensors showed no weapons, no enemies. Then they reached the town square. The fountain in the center was beautiful, Zethkar said quietly. Clear water, bright flowers around it. My soldiers stopped to drink. The water looked clean and safe. But Ben Sullivan had been busy during the night. The water was clean, but he had added something to it. Something that made Vorthok soldiers very sick, but did not hurt humans. 6 of my warriors fell to their knees, Zethkar remembered. They were throwing up, shaking, unable to stand. And that is when the humans attacked. The attack came from everywhere and nowhere. Windows opened and closed quickly. Shots came. From rooftops and doorways, humans appeared just long enough to fire, then disappeared again. But the worst part was not the shooting, Zethkar said. It was the knowledge that they were always watching us, always one step ahead. Amy Johnson was coordinating everything from her communication center. She could see the aliens through cameras hidden all over town. She told other humans where to go, when to shoot, when to run. The aliens were fighting one enemy who seemed to be everywhere at once. We tried to find their command center, Zethkar explained. We thought if we could capture their leaders, the resistance would stop. But there was no command center. Human was a leader. Every house was a fortress. Dr. Lisa Carter had turned her medical center into something amazing. It was not just a place to heal wounded humans. It was also a place to study captured alien equipment. She learned how alien weapons worked. She found their weak points. She shared this knowledge with everyone. Your warriors are tough, Zethkar told the young aliens. But they were not ready for human creativity. Mrs. Helen Brooks was 70 years old. She had been a teacher for 40 years. She looked like someone's grandmother. But Mrs. Brooks had done something that shocked everyone. She had studied the alien soldiers who died in the first attacks. She learned about their armor, their breathing systems, their weak spots. Then she shared this information with the whole colony. A human grandmother became our greatest threat, Zethkar said with wonder in his voice. She knew more about how to kill us than our own generals knew about how to kill humans. The pattern became clear as the day went on. Every human was contributing to the fight in their own way. Farmers used their knowledge of the land to create perfect ambush spots. Shop owners used their supplies to make weapons and bombs. Children carried messages between adult fighters. Tony Rodriguez fixed cars and trucks, Zethkar continued. But when the aliens came, he became an engineer of war and turned it into armor. He took civilian vehicles and made them into weapons. Rodriguez had created something the aliens had never seen. Mobile fighting positions that looked like normal farm machines. Alien soldiers would ignore a tractor working in a field. They did not expect it to suddenly turn and start shooting at them. By noon, we had learned to fear every human we saw, Zethkar admitted. The old man watering his garden might be a sniper. The young woman walking her dog might be carrying explosives. The children playing in the street might be gathering intelligence. But the humans were just getting started. Captain Morrison had realized something important. The aliens were fighting like aliens. They expected their enemies to fight like aliens too. But humans did not follow alien rules. We sent messages demanding their surrender, Zethkar said. Morrison sent back pictures. The pictures showed alien equipment that had been captured and reverse-engineered. They showed alien soldiers being treated in human hospitals. They showed alien weapons being used by human fighters. In less than one day, Zethkar whispered, the humans had learned our technology, copied our weapons, and turned our own tools against us. They did what should have taken months in just hours. The old warrior paused to drink, remembering the growing fear in his unit. But the most frightening thing was not their skill or their speed, he said finally. It was their unity. Fought for every other human. When one was hurt, 10 others became angry. When one died, 100 others became dangerous. Zethkar looked at the young faces around the table. Tomorrow, I will tell you about the day we realized we could not win. Tonight, remember this lesson. Humans do not just fight with weapons, they fight with love. And love makes them impossible to defeat. The young aliens sat in silence, trying to understand what they had heard. Outside the bar, the stars shone cold and distant. But somewhere among those stars was Earth, where humans lived and loved and waited. On the third night, Commander Zethkar arrived at the bar earlier than usual. The young alien soldiers were already there, waiting with eager faces. Word had spread through the station about the old warrior's story. More aliens had come to listen. So, many new faces, Zethkar said as he sat down. Good, you all need to hear this. Tonight I will tell you about the day humans stopped being prey and became hunters. He took a long drink and began. The second day of battle started badly for us. We had lost many soldiers. Our equipment was broken or stolen. Our commanders were angry and confused. But we still had more ships, more weapons, more soldiers. We thought we could still win. Zethkar remembered waking up in their temporary camp outside the human town. Half his unit was sick from the poisoned water. The others were tired and scared. They had never fought an enemy like this before. General Krax called all unit leaders to a meeting. Zethkar continued. He was furious, said the humans were just lucky. He said we would crush them with one big attack. But the humans had been busy during the night. Ben Sullivan had done something amazing with the alien equipment they had captured. He had learned how to understand alien radio signals. Now, the humans could hear everything the aliens were saying. While we were planning our attack, Zethkar said quietly, the humans were listening to every word. Captain Morrison had used this information perfectly. He knew exactly when the aliens would attack. He knew which direction they would come from. He knew how many soldiers they would send. The humans were ready. Dr. Rachel Green had been working all night, Zethkar explained. She was a scientist who studied plants and animals, a peaceful woman who loved all living things. But the war had changed her too. Green had discovered something terrible and wonderful. The local plants produced a gas that human lungs could handle, but alien lungs could not. She had created a weapon from flowers and trees. When we attacked that morning, the air itself became our enemy. Zethkar remembered with fear in his voice. We could not breathe. Our masks did not work. The humans had turned their planet against us. But that was just the beginning. Tony Rodriguez had worked through the night too. The mechanic had taken apart alien vehicles that had been damaged in the first day's fighting. He learned how they worked, and he built something new. Human vehicles started appearing on the battlefield, Zethkar said. They were not normal vehicles anymore. Rodriguez had given them alien shields, alien weapons, alien engines, farm trucks that could fly, tractors that could shoot through our armor. Young aliens listened with wide eyes. One of them, a Zelth named Quinn, spoke up. But how did they learn so fast? It should take years to understand alien technology. Zethkar smiled sadly. That is what makes humans special. Do not just learn, they understand. Give a human a broken machine, and they will not just fix it. They will make it better. The battle that day was unlike anything the aliens had ever experienced. The humans were no longer just defending, they were attacking, and they were winning. Amy Johnson had connected every computer in the colony, Zethkar continued. She could control traffic lights, security cameras, even the sprinkler systems in the parks. The whole town became a weapon. Johnson used her network to confuse and trap alien units. Streetlights would blind alien pilots at crucial moments. Security systems would lock alien soldiers in buildings. Even automatic doors became weapons in her hands. But the worst moment came when we tried to retreat, Zethkar said, his voice growing quiet. We thought we could fall back to our landing ships and call for help from orbit. The humans had thought of that too. Ben Sullivan had spent hours studying the alien communication systems. He had learned not just how to listen to alien signals, but how to send them. False orders started coming through our radios, Zethkar explained. Orders that sounded like they came from our own commanders. Units were sent to the wrong places. Ships were told to land in areas full of human traps. Our own communication system was being used against us. The confusion was complete. Alien units attacked each other by mistake. Ships landed in minefields thinking they were safe zones. Commanders gave orders that made no sense because they were based on false information. And through it all, Zethkar said, the humans kept learning. Every mistake we made taught them something new. Every weapon we used became their weapon. Every tactic we tried became their tactic. Lisa Carter had turned her medical center into something impossible. It was treating wounded humans and wounded aliens at the same time. But while she healed alien prisoners, she was also studying them, learning their biology, finding their weaknesses. The doctor who saved alien lives also learned how to end them, Zethkar said with wonder. She knew exactly where to shoot to. Stop an alien warrior instantly. She knew which gases would make us sick. She knew how to help us and how to hurt us. But the humans were not just fighting with weapons and technology. They were fighting with something deeper, something that confused the aliens more than any trap or trick. Mrs. Helen Brooks was captured during one of our raids, Zethkar remembered. We thought we finally had their leader. But when we questioned her, we learned something strange. The old teacher had told her captors about her students, about the children she had taught, about the families in the colony. She talked about birthday parties and school plays and harvest festivals, normal, peaceful things. She was not afraid of us, Zethkar said. She was sad for us. She said we did not understand what we were trying to destroy. She said we were fighting against love itself. The aliens had not understood what she meant until the rescue came. 50 humans attacked our camp to save one old woman, Zethkar explained. They fought through our defenses like demons. They lost many fighters, but they saved her. That was when Zethkar began to understand what made humans so dangerous. They were not fighting for territory or resources or glory. They were fighting for each other. Every human death made the others stronger, he said. Every wounded human was worth 10 healthy aliens. Every captured human brought 50 humans to the rescue. The alien forces began to break apart. Not from damage to their weapons or vehicles, but from damage to their spirits. They had never fought an enemy that became more dangerous when hurt. Captain Morrison led the final attack himself, Zethkar said. He did not send his people into danger. He went first. He risked the most. He cared the most. Morrison and his team had done the impossible. They had captured an alien command vehicle intact. With all its communication equipment, weapon systems, and navigation computers. In 3 days, Zethkar whispered, farmers and shopkeepers had taken technology that represented thousands of years of alien development, and they understood it better than we did. The old warrior looked around the silent bar. Even the bartender had stopped working to listen. That night we received new orders from our fleet command, Zethkar said. We were to retreat immediately. The attack was over. Remembering the shame and fear of that moment. We had not been defeated by a superior army, he said finally. We had been defeated by superior hearts. Humans had won because they fought for something we could not understand. The young alien sat in stunned silence. Tomorrow I will tell you the end of the story, Zethkar said as he stood to leave. Tomorrow you will learn why the galaxy fears the word human outside the bar. Ships move through the darkness of space. Somewhere in that darkness, humans were watching and waiting and protecting what they loved. On the 4th night, the bar was packed. Word about Commander Zethkar's story had spread across the entire station. Aliens from dozens of species had come to hear the end of the tale. Some were military officers, others were traders and travelers. All of them wanted to know how the story ended. Zethkar looked around the crowded room and nodded slowly. Good, he said. You all need to hear this. Tonight I will tell you why no empire dares attack Earth. Tonight you will learn how humans became the most feared warriors in the galaxy. The old warrior took his usual seat and began the final part of his story. The retreat order came at sunset on the 3rd day, Zethkar said. But it was not really a retreat. It was an escape. We were running away from farmers and shopkeepers, like they were demons from the void. The alien fleet had been in chaos. Half their ships were damaged. Their communication systems were compromised. Many of their soldiers were sick or wounded. The humans had turned a simple invasion into a nightmare. But Captain Morrison was not finished with us, Zethkar continued. The human leader had learned something during the battle. He had learned that we were afraid, and he decided to use that fear. Morrison had gathered his best fighters for one final mission. Lisa Carter, Ben Sullivan, Amy Johnson, Tony Rodriguez, Dr. Rachel Green, and Mrs. Reedy. Helen Brooks. Each had proven themselves in battle. Each had become something more than human. They came for our command ship, Zethkar said quietly. The heart of our fleet, the brain of our operation. They came to take it from us. The young aliens gasped. One of them, a Corvin named Slicks, spoke up. But that is impossible. A command ship has thousands of defenders, heavy weapons, thick armor. How could a few humans even reach it? Zethkar smiled grimly. You still do not understand. These were not just humans anymore. They had become something new, something we had never seen before. The attack began at midnight. Morrison's team used the alien technology they had captured. They wore alien armor. They carried alien weapons. Even smelled like aliens thanks to Dr. Green's chemical work. They walked right through our security, Zethkar remembered. Our own sensors could not tell they were human. Our guards thought they were reinforcements arriving to help. But the real genius was in the plan itself. The humans did not try to fight their way to the command ship. Instead, they made the command ship come to them. Ben Sullivan had been busy. With our communication systems, Zethkar explained. He sent false distress signals from different parts of the fleet, emergency codes that demanded immediate response from the command ship. The alien commanders had fallen for the trick completely. They brought their most important ship closer to the planet to coordinate rescue operations. Right into the trap Morrison had prepared. Amy Johnson guided their ship through a maze of false signals, Zethkar continued. She made them think safe. Areas were dangerous, and dangerous areas were safe. She led them exactly where the humans wanted them. The command ship had landed in what looked like a secure area outside the human town. The aliens thought they were setting up a safe base for operations. They had no idea they were landing in the middle of a human trap. The attack came from inside and outside at the same time, Zethkar said with admiration in his voice. Morrison's team was already aboard our ship, pretending to be aliens. Their human fighters surrounded us on the ground. The battle for the command ship was swift and brutal. The humans had studied alien tactics for 3 days. They knew exactly how alien soldiers would react to each situation. They were always one step ahead. Tony Rodriguez had turned our own maintenance tunnels into highways for human fighters, Zethkar explained. They appeared in parts of the ship where no enemy should be able to go. They struck from directions we could not defend. Dr. Lisa Carter had prepared for this battle carefully. She knew which parts of the ship held the most important systems. She knew how to disable alien life support without hurting humans. She had turned her medical knowledge into a weapon of war. Within 1 hour, they controlled our entire command center, Zethkar said quietly. Our most secure ship, our greatest weapon, in human hands. But the humans did not just capture the ship. They improved it. Ben Sullivan connected the alien computer systems to the human communication network. Amy Johnson used alien sensors to watch the entire fleet. The command ship became part of the human defense system. And then Morrison did something that still gives me nightmares, Zethkar whispered. He used our own weapons against our own fleet. The captured command ship began sending orders to other alien vessels. Orders to land. Orders to surrender. Orders to retreat. Humans were using alien authority to control the alien fleet. Ships that tried to resist found themselves fighting against their own command vessel, Zethkar explained. We were shooting at our own leaders. We were following orders from our enemies. The humans had turned our entire military structure against us. Dr. Rachel Green had prepared a special surprise for the fleet. She had created a gas that would make alien soldiers very sick, but leave humans unharmed. She released it through the command ship's ventilation system, spreading it to every vessel that connected with the captured ship. In 2 hours, half our fleet was disabled, Zethkar said. Not destroyed, just helpless. The humans could have killed us all. But they chose mercy instead. That choice had shocked the alien commanders more than any weapon could have. The humans had shown they could destroy the entire fleet, but they chose to capture it instead. They treated their prisoners well, even helped heal the sick and wounded aliens. Mrs. Helen Brooks spoke to our soldiers over the communication system, Zethkar remembered. She told them about human families, about human children, about the life they were trying to protect. She made us understand what we had been trying to destroy. The war ended not with a great battle, but with a simple message. Captain Morrison contacted the remaining alien ships and offered them a choice. They could leave in peace, or they could stay and learn to live with humans as neighbors instead of enemies. Most of our ships left, Zethkar admitted, but some stayed. They wanted to understand these humans better. They wanted to learn from them. The old warrior paused and looked around the crowded bar. Every alien in the room was listening with complete attention. That was 20 years ago, Zethkar said. The human colony still exists. It has grown into a city and into a spaceport. Now it is one of the most important trading centers in this part of the galaxy. He took a final drink and continued. Captain Morrison became Admiral Morrison. He leads the human space fleet now. The other humans from that battle became leaders too. Teachers, doctors, engineers, diplomats. They spread across the galaxy, making friends instead of enemies. But the most important change was in how other species saw humans. Before that battle, humans were just another species, Zethkar explained. Weak, small, unimportant. After that battle, everything changed. Now every empire knows the truth about humans. The young aliens leaned forward, waiting for the final revelation. Humans do not fight for conquest or glory or power, Zethkar said slowly. They fight for love. And when you fight for love, you become unstoppable. When you fight for love, you become creative, determined, and dangerous beyond measure. He stood up slowly, his old bones creaking. That is why no empire attacks Earth. Not because humans have the biggest weapons or the strongest ships, but because humans will fight for each other with everything they have. They will turn anything into a weapon. They will never give up. They will never surrender what they love. Zethkar looked at each face in the silent bar. Remember this lesson? He said finally. You can defeat human armies. You can destroy human cities. You can even kill human soldiers. But you can never defeat the human spirit. That spirit will find a way to win, no matter how impossible the odds. The old warrior walked toward the door, then stopped and turned back. Oh, and one more thing, he said with a slight smile. Admiral Morrison asked me to give you all a message if I ever told this story. The entire bar waited in silence, he said. To tell you that Earth is always looking for friends, but never for masters. Commander Zethkar left the bar, walking slowly into the night. Behind him, hundreds of aliens sat in stunned silence, finally understanding why the galaxy had learned to respect the word human. In the darkness of space, Earth turned peacefully on its axis. And somewhere among the stars, humans watched and waited, ready to protect what they loved with creativity, courage, and an unbreakable spirit that made them the most dangerous species in the universe, not because they wanted to be dangerous, but because they refused to let anyone hurt their families,